All right.
All the words from the pages change your world. Your world can change your heart. They can change your mind. They can change your life. Can change your world.
All right, my beautiful people, thanks so much for tuning in. This is ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, founder of the New Black Wall Street, back with your New Black Wall Street Book Club, and I am so excited. We are finally about to be done with this book. Oh my goodness. Law number 48, we are here going through the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. We are today on law number 48, and we are complete. So I am just elated. I mean, this has been a journey. Go 48. I don't know how long it's been. About 3 months, I don't know, but we've been taking it step by step. And today we finish this book and we move on to our next book next week. And speaking of the next book, we're going to be moving on to the next book, which is our financial literacy book of the month. I wanted to start this a little bit earlier, but it's okay. It's still April. So we're going to be moving into this book next week. This is Wealth is a Mindset by Ms. Shina Key. This book is $20. We do have them in stock to be able to ship out to you if you want to continue to follow us as we go through our virtual book club. Wealth is a Mindset shares a collection of relatable financial awareness topics, along with tips and tricks to encourage you to think big when it comes to getting big results while building your empire. So if you're serious about building a financial empire, well, you got to change the way that you think so you got to change the results in your life. And if you want to order this book, all you got to do is text the word wealth. Text the word wealth to 678-851-2400. That's 678-851-2400, and we'll get this book out to you ASAP Rocky. Because here's the deal, guys. When I began to read financial things about money, my life began to change. So all I'm doing is just making the same thing available to you, you guys that want to actually change your life as well. So you want to get some financial things in your life, go ahead and make sure you get this book, and we'll be going through this next week. Again, you just text the word wealth to 678-851-2400. We'll get that thing out to you. Also, Club Miller, we're going to be sponsoring a class called Teach Me Tuesday. We're going to be doing this next Tuesday, and we're going to be showing you how to turn your Facebook friends into followers. Plenty of you guys have some businesses. I just talked to somebody. I didn't even know how to business. But plenty of you guys may have some businesses, but you have yet to be able to transition your Facebook friends into followers or actually get new followers for your business. Facebook is a huge tool in order for you to actually increase popularity, visual, get more eyes on what you do so you can sell more stuff. And so we want to show you how you can actually utilize this network, this platform, in order to do that. So you want to make sure you sign up next week at Teach Them Tuesday. I'm trying to get these comments to come up, but they're not coming up. But you want to go ahead and sign up for Teach Them Tuesday next Tuesday, where we'll be showing you how to turn your Facebook friends into followers. Well, that's all I got, guys. Wealth is a Mindset. Again, you want to get this book for our book club. And then also go ahead and sign up for next Tuesday's class, Teach Them Tuesday, how to turn your Facebook friends into followers. But today we're getting into the 48 Laws of Power and finishing that. Again, the 48 Laws of Power, man, what's interesting about this book, this is almost like the enemy's playbook. And so what we're doing, we're learning how to actually apply some of these laws to our life, which are applicable. But then also the biggest thing is learn when these laws are being applied against us, especially as a community, so that we can always remain in a position of power. And I think because we haven't learned these laws, we haven't learned what our enemy is doing or what the enemy is doing, that we continue to operate in a position of slave instead of a position of master. And so we've been going through 48, and today is the ending. I'm about to bust out the scene. But let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. For those that are watching us in New Black Wall Street, Atlanta Black Business Network, where else we might be, Black Enterprise. You can come on over to my personal page if you want to interact with us. Seems like right now I'm not having good luck with my comments, but that's okay. So we're going to get right into law number 48. Law number 48 is assume formlessness. Assume formlessness. So everybody put in the comments below formlessness. I'm not quite sure what this is going to be about, but we're going to read it anyway and see what's going on with this particular law. One second, I'm going to check my phone, make sure that's not something important there. Oh, somebody, okay, God, I got you. Whoever that is, I got you. Whoever just ordered the book, we're going to get this thing out to you. It's going to leave out Monday. I can't get it out any sooner than that because the post office closed, but we got you. Assume for formlessness. So here's your judgment. By taking a shape by, one second, let me do one other thing. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Let's say one other thing here before we get started, because I need to see what's going on with these comments. I don't know what's going on. Let's see if I see it. Oh, we got some people. Hey, okay, that's cool. Thanks so much. All right, what's going on, Angela? How are you? Justin in the building. All right, just wanted to see what was there. All right. Assume formlessness. By taking a shape, by having a visible plan, you open yourself to attack. Instead of taking a form for your enemy to grasp, keep yourself adaptable and on the move. Accept the fact that nothing is certain and no law is fixed. The best way to protect yourself is to be as fluid and as formless as water. Bruce Lee talked about this a lot. Never bet on stability or lasting order. Everything changes. Everything changes. And the only thing that's constant in your life is change. The only thing that's constant in your life is change. So here's your keys to power, guys. Law number 48, assume formlessness. I'm just, Bruce Lee's words are going all in my head right now. Be like water. Keys to power. The human animal is distinguished by its constant creation of forms. Rarely expressing its emotions directly, it gives them form through language or through socially acceptable rituals. We cannot communicate our emotions without a form. The forms that we create, however, change constantly in fashion, in style, in all those human phenomena representing the mood or of the movement. The mood of the moment. We are constantly altering the forms we are inherited from previous generations, and these changes are signs of life and vitality. Indeed, the things that don't change, the forms that rigidify, come to look to us like death, and we destroy them. The young show this most clearly. Uncomfortable with the forms that society imposes upon them, having no set identity, they play with their own characters, trying on a variety of masks and poses to express themselves. This is the vitality that drives the motor of form, creating constant change in style. The only thing that's constant is change. The only thing that's constant is change. The powerful are often people who in their youth have shown immense creativity and expressing something new through a new form. Society grants them power because it hungers for and rewards this sort of newness. The problem comes later, when they often grow conservative and possessive. They no longer dream of creating new forms. Their identities are set, their habits congeal, and their rigidity makes them easy targets. So here's something that you want to ask yourself, because if we're talking about being formless, I think there are many of us who have set into this way of life and we've lost creativity. And so they no longer dream of creating new forms. Their identities are set, their habits congeal, and their rigidity makes them an easy target. Are you an easy target? Could you just be an easy target for your enemy because of your routine? They know where you're going to be each and every day. They know how you're going to react all the time. Could it be that your routine has caused you to be an easy target? Everyone knows their next move. Instead of demanding respect, they elicit boredom. Get off the stage. We say, let someone else, someone younger, entertain us. When locked in the past, the powerful look comical. They are overripened fruit, waiting to fall from the tree. Power can only thrive if it's flexible in its form. Everybody put in the comments below flexible. Power can only thrive in its if it is flexible in its forms. Gotta be flexible. You gotta be flexible. To be formless is not to be amorphous. Everything has a form. It is impossible to avoid. The formlessness of power is more like that of water or mercury, taking the form of whatever it is or is around it. changing constantly. It is never predictable. Could it be that you or I, that we do not possess the type of power that we would like in this world because we're predictable? Because we've established this habit, this way of doing things, and we never change it up. They can expect your next move. They can expect your reaction. They basically have control over you more than you have control of yourself, because it doesn't take much control to do the same thing every day. It's just getting up and doing what you always do. I think that's what's very dangerous about same thing, different day. Why is there no newness in your life? Could it be that you've made yourself an easy target? The powerful are constantly creating form, and their power comes from the rapidity in which they can change. Their formlessness is in the eye of the enemy, who cannot see what they are up to and so has nothing solid to attack. This is the premier pose of power, ungraspable, as elusive and swift as the god Mercury, who could take any form he pleased, and he used this ability to wreak havoc on Mount Olympus. Human creations evolved toward abstraction, toward being more mental and less material. This evolution is clear in art, which in this century made the great discovery of abstraction and conceptualism. It can also be seen in politics, which over time have become less overtly violent, more complicated, indirect, and cerebral. Warfare and strategy too have followed this pattern. Strategy began in the manipulation of armies on land, positioning them in ordered formations. On land, strategy is relatively two-dimensional and controlled by topography. But all the great powers have eventually taken to the sea for commerce and colonialization. And to protect their trading lanes, they have had to learn how to fight at sea. Maritime warfare requires tremendous creativity and abstract thinking, since the lines are constantly shifting. Naval captains distinguish themselves by their ability to adapt to their literal fluidity of the terrain and to confuse the enemy with an abstract, hard-to-anticipate form. They are operating in a third dimension, the mind. They are operating in a third dimension. This is very interesting to me. They're operating in a third dimension, the mind. So as you think about your battlefield, whatever that may be, that you are living in right now, that you are going to war at right now, are you operating on the two-dimensional of what you see, what's being brought to your light, what's being brought to your attention, the surface of it all, or are you operating in the third dimension, the mind? Where are you fighting, and what are you fighting with? It says that the naval captains distinguish themselves by their ability to adapt to literal fluidity of the terrain and to confuse the enemy with an abstract, hard-to-anticipate form. They are operating in a third dimension, the mind. Are you trying to fight just with your hands, just with your fists, just with your feet, or are you fighting with the mind? Ooh, this is something else here. It got me thinking. Back on land, guerrilla warfare too demonstrates this evolution towards abstraction. Everybody put in the comments below abstraction. This is I think this is very key, because we must move. I mean, we must evolve in our fight. We must evolve in war. We must evolve just like every other type of war has evolved. And first, you got to realize that there is a war. Okay, there is an ever-going war for black folk. So you must understand that we're still at war. Just because there have been some treaties that have been signed, just because there have been some negotiations that have happened, we still are at war. But the way in which we fight must also evolve with the times. The third dimension, the mind. So guerrilla warfare too demonstrates its evolution towards abstraction. T.E. Lewis was perhaps the first modern strategist. Oh my goodness. Woo! My goodness, a long chapter. All right. developed a theory behind this kind of warfare and to put it into practice. His ideas influenced Mao, who found in his writings an uncanny Western equivalent to Wei Qi. Lawrence was working with the Arabs, fighting for their territory against the Turks. His idea was to make the Arabs blend into the vast desert, never forgetting a target, never providing a target, never collecting together in one place. As the Turks scrambled to fight this vaporous army, they spread themselves thin, wasting energy and moving from place to place. They had the superior firepower, but the Arabs kept the initiative by playing cat and mouse, giving the Turks nothing to hold on to, destroying their morale. Most wars were wars of contact. Ours should be a war of detachment, Lawrence wrote. We were to contain the enemy by the silent threat of a vast unknown desert, not disclosing ourselves till we attacked. This is the ultimate form of strategy. Everybody put in the comments below strategy. The war of engagement has become far too dangerous and costly. Indirection and elusiveness yield far better results at a much lower cost. The main cost, in fact, is mental. The thinking it takes to align your forces is scattered patterns and to undermine the minds and psychology of your opponents, and nothing will infuriate and disorient them more than formlessness. In a world where wars of detachment are of the order of the day, formlessness is crucial. The first psychological requirement of formlessness is to train yourself to take nothing personally. The first requirement of formlessness is to train yourself to not take anything personally. Now, this is very difficult for most people. I mean, in business, in discussion, and I mean, just about everything, people take everything personally. Like it's a personal attack on you, and it's not. And so this first step, if you want to operate in formlessness, which is the ultimate form of power, is to take nothing personally. I don't know too many people that can do that. Take nothing personally. Never show any defensiveness. When you act defensive, you show your emotions, revealing a clear form. Your opponents will realize they've hit a nerve, an Achilles heel, and they will hit it again and again. So train yourself to take nothing personally. Never let anyone get your back up. Be like a slippery ball that cannot be held. Let no one know what gets to you or where your weaknesses lie. Make your face a formless mask, and you will infuriate and disorient your scheming colleagues and opponents. One man used this technique was Baron James Rothschild. Oh, Lord, how old is that? A German Jew in Paris, in a culture decidedly unfriendly to foreigners. Rothschild never took any attack on him personally or showed he had been hurt in any way. He furthermore adapted himself to a political climate, whatever it was. The stiffly formal restoration monarchy of Louis XIV, the bourgeois reign of Louis Philippe, the democratic revolution of 1848, the upstart Louis Napoleon crowned emperor in 1852, Rothschild accepted them one and all and blended in. He could afford to appear hypocritical or opportunistic because he was valued for his money, not his politics. His money was the currency of power. While he adapted and thrived, outwardly never showing a form, all the other great families that had begun the century immensely wealthy were ruined in the period's complicated shifts and turns of fortune. Attaching themselves to the past, they revealed their embrace of a form. Throughout history, the formless style of ruling has been mostly adeptly practiced by the queen who reigns alone. A queen is in a radically different position from a king because she is a woman. Her subjects and courtiers are likely to doubt her ability to rule, her strength of character. If she favors one side in some ideological struggle, she is said to be acting out of emotional attachment. Yet if she represses her emotions and plays the authoritarian in the male fashion, she arouses worse criticism still. Either by nature or by experience, then, queens tend to adopt a flexible style of governing that in the end often proves more powerful than the more direct male form. Two female leaders exemplifying the formless style of rule are Queen Elizabeth of England and Empress Catherine of the Great of Russia. In violent wars between Catholics and Protestants, Elizabeth stirred a middle course. She avoided alliances that would commit her to one side and that over time would harm the country. She managed to keep her country at peace until it was strong enough for war. Her reign was one of the most glorious in history because of her incredible capacity to adapt and her flexible ideology. Catherine the Great, too evolved an improvisatory style of governing. As she deposed her husband, Emperor Peter II, taking sole control of Russia in 1762, no one thought she would survive. But she had no preconceived ideas, no philosophy or theory to dictate her policies. Although a foreigner, she came from Germany, she understood Russia's moods and how it was changing over the years. One must govern in such a way that one's people think themselves wants to do what one commands them to do. And she said, and to do this, she had to always be a step ahead of their desires and to adapt to their resistance. By never forcing the issue, she reformed Russia in a strikingly short period of time. This feminine, formless style of ruling may have emerged as a way of prospering under difficult circumstances, but it has proved immensely seductive to those who have served under it. Being fluid, it is relatively easy for its subjects to obey, for they feel less coerced, less bent to their ruler's ideology. It also opens up options where an adherence to a doctrine closes them off. Without committing to one side, it allows the ruler to play one enemy off another. Rigid rulers may seem strong, but with time, their inflexibility wears on the nerves, and their subjects find ways to push them from the stage. Flexible, formless rulers will be much criticized, but they will endure, and people will eventually come to identify with them, since they are, as their subjects are, changing with the wind, open to circumstance. So as we're talking about this chapter, guys, oh my goodness, it's a long chapter. Woo! I don't know if I'm gonna finish this one. I mean, my God, I just did a whole bunch of reading. I still feel like I have a lot more to go. We're talking about being like water, being formless. And I'll keep reading. My goodness, it's a long chapter. I guess it should be since it's the last one. Whew. All right, so despite upsets and delays, the permeable style of power generally triumphs in the end, just as Athens eventually won victory over Sparta through its money and its culture. When you find yourself in conflict with someone stronger or more rigid, allow them a momentary victory. Seem to bow to their superiority. Then by being formless and adaptable, slowly insinuate yourself into their soul. This way you will catch them off guard against the subtle and insinuating. To succeed at such a strategy, you must play the chameleon, conform on the surface while breaking down your enemy from the inside. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna come all the way to the end. You guys hopefully got the book. You read the rest because I can't do it. Anyway, never forget though that formlessness is a strategic pose. It gives you room to create tactical surprises as your enemies struggle to guess your next move. They reveal their own strategy, putting them at a decided disadvantage. It keeps the initiative on your side, putting your enemies in a position of never acting, constantly reacting. It foils their spying and intelligence. Remember, formlessness is a tool. Never confuse it with the go with the flow style or with a religious resignation to the twist of fortune. You use formlessness not because it creates inner harmony and peace, but because it will increase your power. Finally, learning to adapt to each new circumstance means seeing events through your own eyes and often ignoring the advice that people constantly peddle your way. It means that ultimately you must throw out the laws that others preach and the books they write to tell you what to do and the sage advice of the elder. The laws that govern circumstances are abolished by new circumstances, Napoleon wrote, which means that it is up to you to gauge each new situation. Rely too much on other people's ideas and you end up taking a form not of your own making. Too much respect for other people's wisdom will make you depreciate your own. Wow. Be brutal with the past, especially your own, and have no respect for the philosophies that are foisted on you from outside. And here's the image that you want to think about. Now, I didn't read the whole chapter, guys. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. I mean, hopefully you got the book. I done been through 48 laws. You can get the book and finish reading the rest of this 48 law 48. That's just too much for me. I don't got that kind of time. But the image that you want to look at is going to be, I think, of water, but they're going to say of Mercury. Mercury was the winged messenger, god of commerce, patron saint of thieves, gamblers, and all those who deceive through swiftness. The day Mercury was born, he invented the lyre. By that evening, he had stolen the cattle of Apollo. He would scour the world, assuming whatever form he desired. Like the liquid metal named after him, he embodies the elusive, the ungraspable, the power of formlessness. Of course, a lot of Greek mythology in this book as well. And I hope that you guys would read the rest of Law 48. I just can't. It's just pretty long. I'll read it later. But I think I've done a good job of going through the whole book for you guys or with you guys. So this is law number 48, but it's assumed formlessness. And the thing that I get from it is to be like water, to always be willing to change, to always be willing to be flexible, adaptable, fluid, so that you can adjust with change. See, I think many of us, we know that change is constant, but we hate change. And because we don't adjust to change, we find ourselves being affected by change, being affected emotionally, being affected in every area of our life because we don't accept change, even though we know that change is constant. But when you're like water and you're fluid, you just adjust to the change that's happening. You just make minor course corrections and still head toward the direction that you want to go. Well, guys, this is law number 48. Assume formlessness. We are now complete. I am just giving myself a great hand of applause. I'm just happy we're done. We can move on for the next book. We're done. So the next book, again, is Wealth is a Mindset, guys. We're going to be picking up on Monday. We do got the books in stock, so you can actually just text us the word wealth to 678-851-2400 to actually get your book mailed out to you so you can follow along with us as we look to change the way that we think when it comes to money, so we can change our results when it comes to money. Well, guys, ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, founder of the New Black Wall Street. Oh, my good. We are complete with 48 Laws of Power. We did it, and we can move on to the next book. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in with us. And here's my goal. My goal from this point forward, as much as I can do it, is I really want to be reading Black authored books. I was thinking about this today, and I was saying, it's cool. Napoleon Hill is cool, and Robert Kiyosaki, that's cool. But the more I think about it, if I pump their books, then that's just moving more money out of our community. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that we have Black authored books read by Black folk, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to find some awesome books for us to read in our book club. I can't call this New Black Wall Street and continue to pump all these other books. I mean, it's good for us to read this book. We learned a lot about the enemy, but now we need to support our brothers and sisters, buy their books. You know what I'm saying? Keep this money in house. I practice what I preach. Group economics, that's just what it is. So if you guys got some books by Black authors that you want to recommend, and they're open to working with us so that we can have their books highlighted and get them some more sales and all that stuff, let me know, because that's what it is. We got a lot of people writing books now. I'm writing a book myself, but we want to find quality books, Black author books from our community, and we can go and do this New Black Wall Street again and feel even better because we'll be supporting our brothers and sisters while we're doing it. That's just what I'm talking about, guys. We got to be all Black everything at this point. And even when it comes to the books that we read, we still have some wonderful literature in our bookstores. We just got to go get it. Well, guys, ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, I want to remind you this, that it takes a village, but it starts with us. Let's build. As we climb together, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you soon.